Hi, I'm Lindsay, and today's message is titled God Reacts to New Year's. I've seen countless videos of all kinds of reactions, of the elderly to rap music, and young people to old technology, and this, that, and the other. But how does God react to what we are doing today? Throughout this message, you will hear me use the name Yahweh. That is the true name of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of the Bible. He's often referred to as Yahweh or Jehovah or what have you, but the original pronunciation in the original Hebrew, before the children of Israel were forced to adopt a vowel system, his name was pronounced Yahweh. So that's the name that I'll be using for God the Father. And for Christ, I will be saying Yahweh Shai, which is the original Hebrew for Joshua, which Christ and Joshua have the same name. So his name is Yahweh Shai. So in this society, we are told that the new year begins at midnight on January the 1st. But what exactly is the significance of this particular time? Do we really know? I'd like to read you an excerpt from the Wikipedia page for New Year's Day. It says, New Year's Day, also called simply New Year's or New Year, is observed on January 1st, the first day of the year on the modern Gregorian calendar as well as the Julian calendar. In pre-Christian Rome, under the Julian calendar, the day was dedicated to Janus, god of gateways and beginnings, for whom January is also named. So, basically there is really no significance to this day other than the pagan god Janus. The Romans are notorious for having multiple deities and worshiping them through various festivals. So this particular lesser god, Janus, was somehow significant to Julius Caesar and Pope Gregory XIII as well, apparently, I guess, for being the so-called god of gateways and new beginnings. But, I mean, is that really a gateway that you would like to go through? Personally, I would prefer whatever gateway the Most High God, the creator of all things, has for me, because who knows where this pagan god Janus is going to lead you. Most likely to the gates of hell. And furthermore, you have to consider the fact that Yahweh created time. So he ordained the changing of the seasons and of the days and of the years. And through the book of Enoch, he actually told us how to determine when the year changes and also when the seasons change, which should be pretty obvious based on the environment. But January 1st really has no significance at all as far as things changing. So when exactly does Yahweh's New Year start? Well, first I want to read a passage from Genesis to let you know that he actually did tell us that we should determine when the year and the seasons change based on the sun and moon. And this is Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, King James Version. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years." Okay, so that tells you that we should be looking at the day length and the night length to determine the changing of the seasons and of the days and of the years. And we actually have to go outside of the canonical Bible to figure out exactly when the year is over. So switching over to the book of Enoch, chapter 72, verses 32 through 34, and it reads, "On that day the night decreases and amounts to 9 parts, and the day to 9 parts, and the night is equal to the day, and the year is exactly as to its days, 364. And the length of the day and of the night, and the shortness of the day and of the night arise. Through the course of the sun, these distinctions are made. So it comes that its course becomes daily longer, and its course nightly shorter. Okay, so Enoch tells us that when the day and the night are equal in length, that marks the end of the year. And, that happens twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. But then following that description, he tells us that the day increases in length and the night decreases. So you know that this particular sort of equinox, I think it's called an equinox, is in the spring. So, and you can actually look up on timeanddate.com when this occurs every year. For 2019, it actually occurs on between March the 16th and March the 17th. So the day and night are equal as of March the 16th, and the first day of the new year, according to God's calendar, is March the 17th. And I would also like to point out that the new year would not officially start until sunrise on March the 17th. The turn of midnight is actually arbitrary as well in God's eyes, because the day is marked by the rising of the sun and not just some arbitrary numbers that have been assigned. So basically, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day is just one huge deception. I would highly recommend that you forego any celebrations, as they are originally dedicated to a false god, and just save your New Year's celebration for God's actual New Year in March the 17th, when things are actually being reborn and blooming and everything is basically being resurrected, an actual new beginning. Following this sort of pagan celebration, everyone, and I'm guilty of this as well. I mean, I was brought up with the same delusions. You make New Year's resolutions, you're like, yeah, everything is going to be different now, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to lose weight, and I'm going to be beautiful and make more friends and everything. But the next day, everything is exactly the same. Nothing changes for the next few months. So it's just kind of a big letdown, and it will probably kind of kill your belief in new beginnings and any kind of resurrection, which I think is very significant, that Yahweh actually made his new year to begin when everything is being resurrected, because he is the God of the resurrection. So it's best to follow his ways so that your hope in resurrections is not killed, because he is very capable of bringing the dead back to life. So getting down to the actual title of this lesson, God reacts to New Year's. I just want to read a few passages to show how he would probably react to all of this deception and coercing people to celebrate false gods and whatnot on this so-called holiday, this unholy day, starting with Deuteronomy chapter 12, verses 29 through 31. And it says, when the Lord Yahweh thy God shall cut off the nations from before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their land, take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, "How did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God, for every abomination to the Lord which he hateth have they done unto their gods, for even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods." Alright, so Yahweh doesn't want the children of Israel, or anyone for that matter, to participate in these sort of worships to false gods. He would rather people be in line with his holy days and with his ways, because he does love humanity and he wants to be united with us. So he would tell you to just forget about New Year's, so-called New Year's, that is. And I know people may say, well, it's just a party. I have time off from work. I just want to go and have some drinks and have some fun with my friends, listen to music and such and such. But to that, I would read Matthew chapter 13, verse number 15. This is Christ, Yahushua, talking, and he says, "For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them." Okay, so just by putting sort of a block up like that, well, it doesn't matter that much to me, so I'm going to do this anyway. Christ would say that you are shutting him out and you're preventing him from actually healing your heart. Whether you realize it or not, participating in these unholy days puts a veil over your eyes, and it puts a darkness in your spirit that you're probably not even aware of until it's gone. So Yahushua is saying, open your eyes to this understanding and let me come in and heal your heart. So the last passage of God's reaction to New Year's that I would like to read is the story of the prodigal son. I'm sure many of you have heard this, but if not, I will go ahead and read it. So this is in Luke chapter 15, and I'm going to read verses 10 through 24. It says, "Likewise, I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner that repenteth. And he said, A certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat, and be merry. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost, and is found. And they began to be merry. So essentially, Yahweh's reaction to New Year's, and to those who celebrate it out of ignorance, more than likely, is probably akin to the father in this story. While the son was off living riotously and living in poverty, wasting his substance, which is just a very sympathetic and compassionate and sorrowful SMH, just shaking his head, just hoping that his son would return to him, extending loving arms. And it's just like Christ said, that the angels of God rejoice when a sinner repents and comes home. So that is essentially what he is hoping everyone will do on this day. So that is it for this message, God Reacts to New Year's. Thank you very much for watching. Please like it, share, and comment. Feel free to ask any questions if you like, and have a blessed day.